come on. How are you doing this now? Oh, wait, I forgot to do something. I'm new with like Macs and stuff, so just I thought this would keep. Oh, here we go. All right, cool. All right, so let's get started. I am Dwayne, and I'll be very nervous right now, so thank you guys for putting up with me. All right, now anybody that knows me or spoke to me for more than like 5 minutes, you know there's two things that pretty much make up my life, and that's hip hop and code. And so much so that I actually own the domain. And if you go to the domain, you'll see just like my time at the Iron Yard. I wrote a blog like every day of my experiences there, so it was really great. And just wanted to say, I can't say enough, thank you to the Iron Yard and everybody that was involved, because I mean, if one thing I got from there, it was like the confidence to be able to pursue what I've been doing as a hobby for like real and be a professional and get paid to do it. So that was always cool. So I would say thank you to them. But so today though, we're going to be talking about hyperHTML, and we talk about it as I understand it so far in January 2018, because it's going to be an ongoing thing. So as I was going through getting ready for the presentation, I kind of thought of like another title that could be really good for this, and it's that backticks, you are the real MVP. Because we're going to talk about how using template literals kind of lays the foundation for everything that's going to be happening in the future. It's going to be kind of awesome. So, but we're going to do a quick demo, and there's going to be a whole bunch of like hip hop randomness in here. So, all right. So, I actually got invited to participate in the Grow with Google program. It's a Google Udacity like course thing. So you do like 3 months, and if you do well in that, then you get into the whole 6-month program. So I decided that I decided to kind of do double duty. So one of the projects there, I was like, oh, I might as well use it for my talk, and so that way I'm kind of getting double work out of there. So the project was to create an animal trading card. And so basically you pick an animal that you like, you get a picture, you get its scientific name, and you get some details about it. So I was like, oh, how can I incorporate hyperHTML into that? And so for anybody that's seen my Kanye West thing, it's kind of in the same vein as that. So, all right, so this is it here. Now, mind you, I haven't done any sort of like CSS because I actually got this working like a few hours ago. So it's just working. It's not, it's not looking like I should, but eventually. So, all right, so name an animal that somebody likes.
Tiger.
Tiger? Awesome. All right, so you have two options. You can either type or speak it. I'm a big fan of using the HTML speech recognition. So, Tiger. So this is going out to, and that's another thing. I'm using the Encyclopedia of Life API, and that thing goes down like a bad boxer. It is the worst thing ever. And so you can hit enter to try it again. So another thing you should know about me, I love Giphy. And so anytime I can include it into a project, I do. So this is just telling. So it happens so much that I actually made an error state for when it gets too many requests and it crashes. And side note, Fetch API, even though you get a 429, which is too many requests, it still says that's okay. So you have to, prevent that. So you have to create your own like thing where it will throw an error for that. All right, so let's try it again. Just wanted to go and search. Eventually. Okay, it's cool. It came up with a tiger shark. All right, so let's. And what's cool is, all right, so you can see here it gives you the scientific name. Oh, you can't see my mouse, and that's still not loading. Oh, that's behind.
No, I'm trying to catch up to you. So
oh, it's not working?
No.
Oh, of course.
I don't know why.
Oh, of course. But it was working.
I put Tiger in and it says the system is overloaded.
Yeah, see, exactly. It is very, very bad.
Also, I put in Eagle and it just gave me information for a shark.
Yeah, it's the Encyclopedia of Life, and it is not the greatest API, but it's the only one that I could find that actually worked. Yeah, it's a tiger shark. So, okay, but let's say if I said cheetah. Cheetah. So it comes up with the cheetah. Now what's cool is, and it didn't come up on my end. Oh, did I lose internet connection? Wait a minute. What is, okay, because mine is not coming up right now. Please work. Okay, there we go. So now if you actually click show video, and then it's click play, that's like the greatest 7 minutes of your life. I just sit there and watch that sometimes. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Nature. All right, cool. So, but that is built in hyperHTML, and we're going to talk more about that coming up. But first, here's a little story, and it all goes to, we're going to do a CodePen. A lot of it's going to be CodePen. Oh, but you won't be able to, I guess, hit. Okay, hit edit on CodePen. Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, so how are we going to do this now? All right. I guess just kind of follow along as I say stuff. Okay.
Can you do that? I can slide your nose machine up to you, and then you could.
Yeah, I guess we can do that. Let me get that. Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so I can try to do both. All right. All right. Oh, this is not gonna be cool. Okay. So, all right, then we're there. Let me change this view. By the way, CodePen is pretty awesome, and it's kind of like GitHub, but with less commitments. Hi. Okay. It goes downhill from here, folks. So, all right. Let me see. All right. So, okay. You're seeing all that. Cool. Okay, so we're going to go over template literals real quick. You can see that? Should I make that bigger or? So Command plus, right?
Yeah.
How is that? Better? All right, cool. So we're going to open up the console. Hopefully. All right. So we're just going to go over some basics of template literals. And this is going to kind of lead up into the whole hyperHTML. It's just easier if you kind of understand what hyperHTML is built off of in order to get a great understanding of it. Okay. So, okay. So we're going to, so the template literals, they all start with the backtick, as you can see here. And they act just as if you with the double quotes or the single quotes, but they have more powers, let's say. And so I'm going to uncomment this. Uncomment. All right, let's do it the old-fashioned. Why is this not uncomment? Okay, it doesn't like to uncomment. All right, this is awesome. Yeah. All right, so you see, as if you were just, because usually you may have put like double quotes or single quotes. But this acts just like that. All right, so now on to the next one. You can actually do string substitutions with it. Why is this not? Okay, I'll do it. Command slash.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, not doing it.
Not at all. All right.
Did you put your Apple stickers on your car yet?
Huh?
Did
Oh,
you put your Apple
see, yeah, that's
stickers
what it
on
was. Yeah, they tracked me. I'm like, this guy is not doing what he's supposed to do. All right, so now we have string substitutions. So that we have the constant place, and then we're going to substitute that into the place here. Everybody's good? All right. So, as you can see here, place is El Segundo, and then a Tribe Called Quest is I left my wallet in $, curly brace, and then you put the variable in there. Place. All right? Everybody, just stop me if there's anything, just let me know. Everybody's good? Cool. All right, so now I have to do this manually, so it's my life right now. All right.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too. All right, now what's also cool, has anyone ever tried to do like multi-line with the double quotes and then you have to do like a /n and then plus and it's it's horrible, right? It's the worst thing ever. Not with backticks. All you have to do is type it how you want it. And I'm going to have to do this. All right. Doop, doop, doop. Cool. So now you see how it's placed. It's kind of staggered. Bam, comes out just like it. It's kind of awesome. So you don't have to worry about like space. It respects the white space, pretty much. It's the one thing in this life that respects your space. All right. Now you can actually evaluate expressions with backticks and template literals. So let's say const. Come on. Oh, this is the worst mouse pad ever. All right. So const get with this. Let's say it's 4. Const get with that is 5. Const black sheep is engine number. That should be
9.
Exactly. And so, bam, engine number 9. You guys see that? I don't know how to bring that up. Yeah, exactly. We're good? Remember, stop me if you have any problems. All right. Now, we're going to do some functions. So that was kind of done within the actual template literal, the expression. You can actually pass functions through the template literal. So just like we're at here, so we have a function here. How old is hip hop? And we're passing it in DJ Kool Herc's party date. For people that don't know, we count that as the birth date of hip hop, a party. It's good times. All right, and so what we're going to do is we're going to return today's date, the year, and then we're going to subtract the year of the date of the party. All right, I really wish I could just do this automatically. Okay, so the constant DJ Kool Herc's party date, 1973, and then we're passing that into the function of how old is hip hop, and then we're going to store the result, what's returned, into hip hop age. And so we're going to console log that. And then you see hip hop is 45 years old. Good so far? Awesome. Now, so everybody's getting this, it's pretty simple, right? So hopefully, why is this not working? What? Oh, this is not going. Am I not? It's not letting me go to the next slide. Come on. But it's not. Can I connect like HDMI possibly? Like, is there like a? Because this isn't working anymore. Hi. It's not going forward anymore.
Oh no.
How do I? Can I get like an HDMI cable? Like, I see like an HDMI port here.
Yeah, you can plug it into the actual computer if you like.
But do you have the actual like HDMI? Do you have an HDMI cable? I have the adapter. Okay. Like it's not. It's not. Like it's not.
So wait, what exactly is the issue?
I can't advance my slides.
Oh man. Okay. Pause everyone. Let me grab this computer.
But how's it going so far? Besides all this, it's cool so far.
Yeah. What if you reload the page?
Oh.
Maybe, and then like don't click on your CodePen thing.
Oh, yeah, true.
Maybe it'll.
Or maybe it's because, wait, hold on. Maybe it's connected back to this one, maybe. Maybe. Let's see. Okay. Because, we'll see. All right. Did it work?
Yes.
All right. So
Yay.
hopefully you guys are thinking, besides what's been happening, that you think template literals so far are pretty easy. All right, cool. And that you'll never get that image out of your mind again. You're welcome. So awesome. All right. So I guess I'm back with this. Maybe I need to put them together. All right. Cool. So now we're going to go into tagged template literals. Now this is where it gets crazy. This is where it gets awesome. All right. So now, anybody else, when you hear tagged template literals, anybody else think of like tagged, like that tagged? Maybe just me. Okay, my bad. All right. So we're going to go into another CodePen. Did it switch, did it? No, it did not. All right. Oh, that makes sense because you wouldn't be able to. See, the thing with CodePen, you can't go into the editor to your. All right. So we'll do that here. All right, cool. Let's start off with the first one. We're going to go with the constant group outcast. Constant fact, the greatest group of all time. If you disagree, you're wrong. All right, so we're going to go, as you can see right here, when we do template, tag template literals, all we have to do, all right, I'm going to, because this is what we've done thus far. Oh, let me open the console. All right, cool. All right, so, oh, this is not. All right, so that should show up. Oh, I'm not console logging. That'll probably help. All right, fact. Right now, what we're going to do is just place a function in front of that actual template literal. It is literally the same thing, except it has who else in front of it. Now, when you do that, you can actually take what goes into it and then split it apart. So when you have a tagged template literal, you see how it says with the interpolation with the $sign and the curly Q brackets? Those are like your variables. Those are things that you can change. Now, everything else, so you see how there's is and then another interpolation fact. What's cool is with the tag template literals is that when you pass it through that variable, through that function, it separates your strings and your interpolations. It's pretty amazing. I'm going to show you that right now. So we have, oh crap. Cool, so we have who else, that is the function that we're going to be passing in that template literal. So that's the tag in tagged. And so it's right up here. You guys can see that, right? Okay, cool. And so you can see here, I'm splitting it apart here. So you have strings, and then we're doing a spread operator on the interpolation because you never really know how much you're going to have. You could actually put in there, interpolation 0, 1. And these are just random names. You can say whatever you want. I think they're a little bit more descriptive. So we have strings and interpolations. Strings are the things that are always going to stay constant. They're frozen. In your browser, they're always going to remain the same. Regardless of how many renderings they're going to be, they're always the same. And then interpolations are the things that are going to change depending on what you do to them. All right, so now let's console log. Okay, so I did console log it. So you see right here, now this first one is empty string. That's because it's at the front there. And then you see below that, the next one is the outcast. That's the first interpolation for group. And then we have is with the spaces. Remember, it respects your white space. And then it has the spaces for is right beside it. And then it goes down to the greatest group of all time. And then you'll notice again, there's some more empty strings because that's at the end. So I think I read somewhere you're always going to have like one more string, it's going to be one greater, your string array, than your interpolations because you got the front and the back. All right. So now what we're going to do is, let's say, remember I told you that now when you pass it into your tag function, you can manipulate the variables and then return it out. So what you put in, you can always kind of change to come out. Everything except the strings. Remember, the strings stay the same. They're frozen. All right. So let's check this out. Now, okay. So we're going to put an if statement in here. So we're going to say if that first interpolation, which is the group, is not outcast, then the second interpolation, where it was the fact, is going to be good, but not outcast. So somebody name another group for me. Go ahead and name it.
Tribe Called Quest.
A Tribe Called Quest. Nice. There we go. A tribe. If I could type. This is why I did this beforehand. I can't. These keyboards are horrible. Called Quest. And then let that kind of do its thing.
With the close the if statement.
The curly is right.
Oh, yeah, thank you. See, this is why I don't do
Yeah,
this.
you have an error.
Yeah. There we go. All right, so A Tribe Called Quest is good, but not Outcast. And so you can see how it changed the two different interpolations, but the strings are the same. That's very important. All right? So, and then you'll see that it also, again, with the string, here's your string array and then your interpolation array. Cool. Now we're going to, oh man, okay, I'm going to have to do this. Now we're going to do something a little bit more advanced. So everybody's good so far? Cool. Cool. All right, clear this. All right, now, for a t-shirt, who can name the 3 members of De La Soul? Right? I think you guys like hip hop. What?
Now.
Anybody? Anybody hip hop? De La Soul. They're like 80 years old. No, they're
not that old.
Yeah, I know. They're gonna kill me. All right. Nobody? Oh, okay. All right.
You want me to tell you?
Oh, yeah. Good job there, cheater. All right. So, okay. So, plug 1, he goes by Postdenouse. Postdnou. Oops. All right. So, Postdenouse. And then plug 2 is Trugoy. Plug 3 is Maceo. All right. So now we're gonna go through all this other stuff again. So let's go ahead and just, so as you can see, I just entered in an array of objects, right? It's a De La Soul constant, and then they're made up of plug 1 and name tags, and then the actual values, the values of the keys are the numbers and their name. All right. So let's go ahead and do a for each, and we're going to just do a simple. We're just going to console log it eventually. It should pop up, right? What's going on here? Member name. Why is that not working? Huh. Weird. Okay. Let me try to take out this one. Because I'm not. What's that? Let me see here. Is it working on anybody else's, or is that not coming up?
Scroll back up. Was anything from the previous example still?
Well, we have this. That shouldn't be. Let's see here. Oh, okay, there you go. That was weird. All right, so as you can see, plug 1 is Postdenouse, plug 2 is Trugoy, and that's yogurt backwards, and plug 3 is Maceo. And I actually wanted to show you the first one, but all right. So, but without doing the, we're just doing it straight expression. You see, okay. Let me clear it and do it again. All right. So you see, Postdenouse is plug 1, Trugoy is plug 2, Maceo is plug 3, and that is just coming straight from the template literal right here. Everybody got that? Cool. And now when we do a tagged template literal, and all we're doing is just taking the function origin and putting it in front. And then so it's plug member is member name. There. And so here is the actual origin function right here. Let's see if I can space this out better. So again, you're passing in strings and interpolations. And the strings are just going to be is. But then remember, there's also in the beginning and the end. So it's going to have those blank strings. Cool. And then, so what we're doing is we're going to operate on there. So we have this if interpolations. So if plug is, because plug is in the first position, so if in the interpolations array, which is plug, if that's equal to 2, we're going to take the second interpolation, which is the name, and then we're going to do a reverse. So we're going to say that that true goy, because that's who plug 2 is, and then and then we're going to split it, and we're just going to reverse it, and then say backwards. So we're kind of joining it all together, and we're going to set that second interpolation to that. Because remember, you can change that as much as however you want, just not the strings. And then this is a way to kind of just join everything together, because if you saw before, like the way we joined them together was to just take all the different strings and interpolations and put them together. Now imagine if you had a whole bunch of strings and a lot of variables. That would be a pain. So what we can do is we're going to just set an empty array, and then we're just going to go through the interpolations, and then for each one we're just going to kind of push the string and the interpolation together. And then we're just going to join them afterwards. So it's basically doing that, but just easier, without having to do for like a million of them. And then we're just going to, let's console log what happens when we do this tagged template literal. So you can see I actually changed around the positions. So we have plug, then member plug is, and then member name. But then when it matches 2, then it does what I asked it to do here in this expression. So it's going to take it and change that second interpolation to add it to this. So that's why that's yogurt backwards. Cool so far? Good? Awesome. Cool, because now, hold on. So I got to figure out the workflow for this. All right. All right, so that's what we just went there. Cool. So now it's time to get hype per HTML. All right. Now, this is from the actual hyperHTML creator, Andrea Giamarchi. Anybody know how to actually say that last name? Was that close? All right, we'll just say I was close. All right, so now, the great things about hyperHTML is that there's zero dependency. Once you use hyperHTML, you don't have to worry about anything else. It just does what it does by itself. It's like a one-man wrecking squad. And it's like Punisher. I just saw that on Netflix. Okay, now, and it's a very small size. It's only 4.5 kilobytes via Brotli, which I guess is like a minimization thing. Like, you know, you have like .min.js, it's that type of thing. And now, the great, like how we were saying before, that when you're passing in the tag template literal, it breaks it up into strings and then the variables, right? So now your browser already knows what are the strings. It knows that that's forever, no matter how many renderings you do, those are always the same. But now what would be cool is if you could somehow render smartly and efficiently those variables. And that's where hyperHTML comes in. So now how many people are familiar with React? So now the main thing with React is that it takes your DOM, makes a copy of it, a virtual DOM, and then it does all the work there. But now with tag template literals, half the work is done because it already knows what the strings are. And now with hyperHTML, you can render the variable parts a lot easier on the actual DOM. So there is no need for a virtual DOM. So you save some power that way. Cool? You guys look amazed. Awesome. All right. And then it's basically JavaScript. So it's based on ECMAScript and DOM specs. So it is, yes.
If you change, like, something changes
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of the application runtime, you render the whole thing?
No, I'm going to actually show you that. Good question. Did you see my slides? Okay, all right. So we're going to actually get into the next thing. All right, so I figured the best way to kind of show you guys something that's always kind of changing, because I don't want to have to keep typing. Oh, wait, did you see this? So I decided to just use a clock. So the first clock is an inner HTML clock. And then the other one's a hyper HTML clock. As you can see, they're doing the same exact thing, correct? But now, let me go and edit this on code. I think I could probably do it here. Let me see. Inspect elements. Why did it pop over there? Okay, let me see. Oh, that's weird. Okay. All right, I'll make this work. Let me see. Okay, so now you guys see that's the inner HTML clock. And that's what it's rendering. Every time it re-renders, that's what it's changing, right? As you can see, it's the full HTML. But now here's the, you can see that, right?
Yeah.
Now the hyperHTML clock, you see, is just the time. And you can see that it tagged it with this hyper ID. So it knows to change just that. Cool. So that's kind of awesome. All right, so now, so again, so instead of, see how it's changing that whole big div there? We're just changing the actual thing that needs to be changed. All right. How do I get back? Back here. Okay. So now, I really suggest you guys check out the docs and the sample code at viperhtml.js.org. This is pretty awesome the way he has it, because not only does he break down like the documentation and like what the whole thinking behind it, he has these sections here where you can see he actually will take different frameworks and say, okay, this is how you do it in hyperHTML. So if you're familiar, so they have like Angular, there's React, there's Marco, there's Vue, there's a whole bunch of things. So that's a great resource, and it gives you different, the clock was on there. So it tells you how to do it in React, how to do it in hyperHTML. And then even more things, there's like states, and then there's custom elements. It's kind of crazy. It's a lot of stuff. And then he'll post that code into CodePen also. So you'll be able to see it and fork it and do all those things. So it's pretty awesome. All right, so now I'm going to kind of go over the actual app thing that I made like this morning. So now I've been learning Python, so excuse any if I'm missing like semicolons and stuff, because trying to switch back and forth has been a thing. All right, so I guess let's start. Oh, wait, no, use this one. Okay. All right, so for people that may have just joined us, let me get an animal. Oh, let's say cheetah. Oh no, I already did cheetah. Let me get an animal.
Tiger shark.
Tiger shark. Wait, we just saw a tiger shark. What's a tiger?
We were looking for a tiger.
Huh?
We want a tiger shark specifically.
All right. Tiger shark. It doesn't crash.
I love if it doesn't give us a tiger shark.
All right, let me type it now. I'm not sure what is going on. Tiger. Is that one word or two word? Tiger shark. Two words. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see what the Encyclopedia of Life tells us. No, actually maybe it's two. And now again, so I'm pulling all this information, and then there's a video, which is kind of cool, and then there's the image, go back and forth. All right, so now the way it started off, I kind of okay, so I gave it a constant because you have to start off with something. So I just gave it a blank, which is what you saw with the gray square and then just the words there. And then from there, you have to render everything. So this is where I'm rendering the card. And so you pass it in props, just as you do with like React. And I like to console log a lot of stuff. So you'll see that like every other line. So again, I just did this morning, so I didn't get to really finish everything up. And this is a very important part. This right here, the hyperHTML.bind, that is where you're passing in the stuff that you want hyperHTML to keep track. And then, so this search renderer, again, see how it's as if it's being as an interpolation. So that's going to have a tag of hyperHTML. So that is right, because that is the search here. And that is right here. Now you'll notice things saying like wire, you know, that says wire, and that says bind. You bind things that are already there, that are already in your DOM. Now when you create things, let's say if it's like let's say you're doing a to-do list, and you're adding the different LIs, the to-dos, you would wire those because you're creating them. But then the actual to-do app would be bound because it's there already. And he goes through all of this into the documentation and everything also. All right, so you can see. So here's the search render. Again, I'm logging props. And the wire, and this is just a short way of kind of, instead of having to, I could have wrote hyperHTML.wire here, but it's just a little shorthand. And then I'm passing in the props. I'm giving an ID because a lot of times you can reuse certain components. So they suggest kind of adding a little ID there. And then here's this speech button to submit it. And then when you click on it, you just pass through the function, and that is speech submit, which is right here. And then another console log, speech button clicked. I changed the value inside here to listening, and then it starts the recognition. You guys want to see the speech recognition stuff, or I can skip over that? You want to see it? All right. So you can see right here, I start speech recognition. That is down here. Now, are you guys familiar with the HTML? This is built into the browser, speech recognition. It's pretty amazing. You can just speak to it, and it will like translate what you wrote, what you spoke into actual text. So that's what I did right here. So, but you have to kind of, it depends on what browser you're on. So that's why I have all these different WebKit, speech recognition, and all that. So I kind of just set it to one thing, so I don't have to keep repeating myself. And then we let recognition equal a new speech recognition. I say I want it in English. Interim is like if you keep talking, it will kind of keep popping up with things. I don't want that, so I just want it at the end. And then it'll sometimes give you alternatives. I just want the first one. Yeah, that's pretty good for me. And then so you have an on result, and this is what I'm using to when I get it. It's the first result normally in the transcript that it returns. And then I'm setting the value of this to that. And then, again, a console log. And I'm saying get animal data. Get animal data is right here. Pass that in there. And then I get rid of, because there's a video element and then there's the picture element. And I just want to see the picture for right now. I load that first. And then I set everything to kind of be blank. So if there was already, let's say, koala bear. Let me try this. Koala bear. Okay, that's not working on there. All right. It worked because we saw it work before. All right. Let me see. I don't know. Maybe she has the mic off? I don't know. Okay, so koala bear. See how it changes back to the blank? That's what that was doing. I passed it in basically the blank object that I had earlier. Because I just wanted to kind of get her. And this is like the cutest thing ever. All right, so while I'm talking. All right, so now, okay, remember when I was telling you, here is the fetch that I was talking about before. It goes to the EOL, which is the Encyclopedia of Life, and then I pass in the animal name, and then it gives me back the results. And then here, like as you saw before, it overloads a lot. So I had to create a handles error part right here, because it will say that it's okay, but I don't want it to say that. So depending on the response, I actually throw an error. Cool. So I make it catch it, and then I do. Cool. So yeah, so if I catch an error, again, console log error, and then I go to the Giphy error, which is a function I set up that I can pass it in like the search term that I want, so like panic because it's overloaded, and then the text that I wanted to say, the system is overloaded. And then if it's not that, then it's going to process the data, again, console log, and then if right here, if there is no results, so let's say if something that doesn't exist, because somebody might type something that doesn't work. See, it goes back to blank, and then, we can't find the animal, try another one. All right, so that's what, right, and then if you can't find it, like it'll pass it through here, get you the actual data, then we're going to parse the animal data, and then this is just, all right, so now parsing the data. Right here, because we want it to show up. So I'm taking the data that comes back from the Encyclopedia of Life, and again, console log. I'm setting a blank object, and then I'm setting the header, which was this part, the scientific name, to what came back at the data called scientific name. And then I set some things here. If it has details, I said no. This is initial variables. And then for each, so I'm going through the act, because can I show? Let me see. Since I'm console logging everything, I could probably show you. Let's see. Elements. Oh man. Console. All right. So I'm gonna clear this. Oh, is it trash? Oh, okay. All right. So now, why does it keep doing that? What is that asking me? Okay. All right. Close this. Enter. Oh, see, it overloaded. So it gave me an error, and then it came back with that. Let's try it again. Giphy's the greatest thing ever. All right. We're going to empty it. All right, cool. Here we go. So you can see getting back the object, and it has all the different things in there. Now, what happens is it gives me, I can't read it on here. It's weird. Let me see. It gives me a bunch of different ones, which I can't. But what happens is it gives me like a bunch of different references. So like, and I just go through them, and some of them have like a, what is this? So they give me a bunch of different references back about the animal. And so I go through them, and some of them have a data type of text. And so I take the first one, and I put it here in the details. So that's what that is. And if there's a still image, I make that the actual image there. So I'm setting animalinfo.image URL to that. And I said it has an image true. If it has details, true. And else if there's a video which has a moving image type, then I set that to so it'll show up here. And then, all right, and then this is where it gets re-rendered again, animal card render, and you pass it in. That's pretty much, so anytime I want to re-render it, that is what I do there. And did I talk about animal render card? I'm sure. Oh, no, passed it. Is this cool so far? I mean, just let me know. Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's get animal data. Cool. Animal card render. I pass it in something here. And then again, a console log. And then I set that. And then it just reads as if it was like React. You just read all the different parts of the object, puts it in there. This is if there was the show media. Because some of them don't have like video, so I don't show this section here at all because it makes no sense because you can't click on the video. And here's where the details show up, and then that's the scientific name there. Not too bad, right? I mean, we didn't have to go through a whole bunch of stuff, create React app, and wait like half an hour for stuff to load. You know what I mean? We just, because all it actually, let me open it up on here. Because you can actually just, as if you were like calling in like jQuery or something, it's just, why does it keep doing that? Okay, so that's hyperHTML right there. So all that's coming from there. And you can also do, git install and all that stuff with it too, but I just wanted to do this on CodePen because it's a lot easier. All right, cool. Now, on to the next one. I have to come back over here. Cool. I think, right? Yeah. So now, have you ever felt sometimes like when all you want to do is just use the API to service? And then you find that you have to go and look up the different libraries, and you have to figure out which one's been like the latest, been updated the latest, and then you have to find blog posts to see which one's better, and then you have to, it's horrible. But at least with this now, you can just, it's straight JavaScript. So you don't have to, so you can actually go and work with the API. And so this is kind of like, I think, the history so far where you have all these heavy frameworks and libraries because JavaScript wasn't that capable really. But now that's changing with ES6 and tag template literals, as you can see, that I think you should now, in response, frameworks and libraries should get lighter. So things with like hyperHTML, and Google's working on something called lit HTML, which is supposed to be even better. But that's experimental right now. So, but this one's a little bit more mature, so that's why I'm working with this one. And so our frameworks library is dead? I don't know. I'm hopefully, React and Angular will kind of be able to take full advantage of what's in native JavaScript and incorporate it and make things a lot better. But it's always good to have alternatives that will kind of push it that way also. So, all right, now, so all right, so ending this off, plug one, I have a website. NoBetterHipHop.com is a radio show. I built it in Angular 2. I'm going to be redoing it since Angular 5 is out now, so it makes sense. And it's pretty cool. It's a progressive web app. I've used some accelerated mobile pages. I created like a forum and the chat room, and there's like a map where people add themselves, and like they take a picture and they add themselves to a map. So it's kind of cool. And then it changes when we're live, so you have like live player in the chat. I like it. All right, plug 2. If you want to reach me out on social media, Dwayne.io on Twitter, Instagram, Dwayne.io. And I'm mostly on Instagram because I don't like reading a lot unless it's like documentation. And so what I did was I still wanted to be kind of active on Twitter. So I wrote a bot that takes my pictures from Instagram, runs them through Azure Computer Vision, and then it posts a tweet with the picture and what it thought it saw in there. And it's kind of creepy and cool. It's amazing how accurate it can be and how way off it could be. Like it actually picked out Killer Mike, Bernie Sanders, someone else sitting on a bench. And that's what it was. But then it'll say like, oh, a bunch of people in a crowd in front of a crowd. It's weird. So you can check that out on my Twitter. And plug 3, if you want to hit me up on email, it's just hey@dwayne.io. And questions? Was that cool? I mean, I don't know, like, was it explained well? I mean, anything, because gotta have questions, right? This is new stuff.
You just explained it that well.
Don't say that.
Will you use this instead of having a library on a, let's say, a real world app that you make?
Well, I'm actually going to be building something in hyperHTML. So for my radio station, I'm going to be building like a substitution, like a system. So if somebody needs a sub for their show, you'll be able to pull up the different people and then send like text messages, that is SMS, like Chrome notifications and like emails. So I'm working on that, so like a whole back-end authentication, a whole bunch of goodness. And so I'll see. Like again, I've only been looking over this for like a month, kind of off and on. So looking forward to kind of diving into it. And so yeah, so I mean, if anybody, I mean, I have a bunch of questions too. So if anybody, if this piqued your interest and you kind of look more into it, just feel free to hit me up and we can work something out.
Is there anything so far that you found that hyperHTML cannot do?
See, that's the thing. I don't know. Because all my stuff have been simple, just re-render this part here. So I've never seen like a huge thing where you would. So, I mean, but he has, I guess there's way to test things. So now, you know how there's used to be like the to-do app was the thing?
Yeah.
Well, now it's apparently you build your own Hacker News app.
Yep.
And so this is like one of the fastest ones. And it gets like really high Lighthouse scores. You know about Lighthouse?
Yeah.
What? Lighthouse is awesome. All right, let me see if I can bring that up on here. Not that one. So Lighthouse comes on every Chrome browser. So you go to inspect your Chrome developer tools. And it's a weird layout.
Or Firefox developer.
Oh, this is Firefox. Oh, that would be why. Okay. Oh, if you want to see it on my computer, then you can look it up.
I have a question.
What's up?
With the tag template literal functions that you're running, how come you don't need to pass it when you execute the function? There's no open and close parentheses. Like on one of them, you did origin, and then you just did the tag.
Oh, because that's the way the syntax is. So
that's how it knows it's a string, and then the interpolation.
Exactly, because like the backtick is kind of like your parentheses.
Okay. So if you pass it regular parentheses, it would just take it as a string as a first parameter, and it would ignore the rest.
I never tried that, but that's, I'm not sure what would happen. It might do it as a regular, yeah. It might just do it as a regular string, yeah. Right, yeah. Because at that point it'd just be a regular function.
Right.
So yeah. So but without it, then it becomes a tag template literal. So yeah. So it would probably. I don't think it would actually even. Well, it might pass through the interpolation. So instead of being able to change things there, it might render it first and then send all that.
Yeah.
So then you wouldn't be able to do. So yeah. Awesome questions. So I mean, so then we're good, I guess. And thank you guys. I mean, I appreciate it. All right. Not too painful.
Yeah. You feel better now?
Yeah. I'm gonna sleep for a long time though. I've been up for like 3 days. I'm tired. How I do on time? I don't know. was cool.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, whatever.
If you don't mind if I like shimmy over. Actually, I should probably not touch my.
But thank you guys. Thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? For hanging out. Hopefully it was helpful. I mean, hopefully it makes you want to check out hyperHTML. Does it?
Yeah.
Like you want to go check it out because it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, like it's,
So,
I'm kind of
now
excited.
we're going to be getting started with doing CodePen answers. So if you all want to show anything really cool that you've done in CodePen or really terrible that you've done in CodePen, that's totally fine too. You're more than welcome to show and tell everything on CodePen, which is really, really super awesome.
That's fun stuff.
If you need any like help on a